You walk into a room you have never been in before. The light falls across the floor in a specific way. Someone across the room drops a glass. The sound of it shattering. The exact words the person next to you is about to say. The sudden chill in the air. All of it. You have lived this exact moment before. You know exactly what is going to happen next. But that is impossible. You have never been to this city. You have never met these people. Yet, the feeling is so intensely real that it makes your stomach drop. For a split second, time feels completely broken. We call it déjà vu. And for centuries, people thought it was proof of past lives, parallel dimensions, or even a glitch in the matrix. But the truth hidden inside your skull is far more unsettling. If you enjoy learning how your mind really works, subscribe now, because this channel breaks down complex things in simple ways. The feeling you just had in that room wasn't magic. It was a mechanical failure. But what if this glitch isn't an accident? What if your brain is actually exposing a terrifying secret about how you experience reality? To understand what is happening to you in that room, we first have to strip away the myths. The term is French for already seen. Nearly 70% of the global population will experience it at least once. It strikes most often between the ages of 15 and 25, perfectly aligning with the years your brain is undergoing its most radical physical and chemical renovations. Most people brush it off as a weird, fleeting sensation, a minor stutter in the conscious mind. But scientists and neurologists view it very differently. They see it as a momentary lifting of the curtain, a rare opportunity to watch the machinery of human consciousness misfire in real time. We assume that when we look at the world, our eyes stream a live broadcast directly to our minds. We believe we are experiencing the present moment exactly as it happens. But that is a complete illusion. You do not live in the present. You have never lived in the present. Your brain takes milliseconds to process light, sound, and physical touch. By the time you consciously realize what is happening around you, that moment is already in the past. You are constantly living in a delayed broadcast, and your brain works exhaustively to stitch this delay together, so you never notice the lag. Déjà vu is the exact moment the stitching comes undone. But here is where it gets interesting. The illusion does not break all at once. It breaks in distinct stages. Researchers have broken this phenomenon down into different cognitive triggers, and the most common is called split perception. Imagine you are walking down a street, and you glance at a strange building out of the corner of your eye. You do not consciously register it because you are distracted by a notification on your phone. A second later, you look up and focus directly on that same building. Your brain processes the building as a completely new experience. But deep in your subconscious, you already recorded it a fraction of a second ago. Your memory system violently collides with your present perception. Your brain recognizes the building, but because you lack the conscious memory of seeing it a moment ago, it feels like a memory from another lifetime. It is a biological echo playing tricks on your awareness. But that is only half the story. There is a much darker version of this cognitive misfire, and it was discovered in the medical files of those who suffer from temporal lobe epilepsy. For these patients, déjà vu is not a fun, mysterious feeling. It is a blaring warning siren. Just before a seizure strikes, many patients experience a crushing, overwhelming wave of familiarity. It is so powerful, it paralyzes them. The electricity in their brain begins to storm, originating exactly in the temporal lobe, which is the very place where your brain stores and retrieves memories. This single medical reality shifted the entire scientific understanding of déjà vu forever. It proved that the feeling of familiarity is not tied to the actual environment you are standing in. It is a physical sensation. It is a chemical switch. And sometimes, that switch gets flipped by accident, flooding your system with the emotion of memory without an actual memory to attach it to. And this is where most people get it wrong. We have always assumed déjà vu is a problem with our memory. We think we are remembering something that did not actually happen. But a groundbreaking study using advanced brain scans revealed something entirely unexpected. When volunteers were placed in an MRI machine and mathematically triggered to feel déjà vu, the memory centers of their brains were completely quiet. They were barely active. Instead, the frontal cortex lit up like a lightning storm. This is the part of your brain responsible for high-level decision-making and fact-checking. Your brain was not blindly searching for an old memory at all. It was running a massive, high-speed audit. It recognized that the feeling of familiarity did not match the logic of the present moment. Your brain was actively fighting a lie. The déjà vu you feel is actually the sensation of your brain correcting a fatal error in your perception. It is your mind realizing that it made a mistake and aggressively snapping you back to reality. This realization raises the stakes significantly. It means that every time you experience déjà vu, you just survived a micro-collapse of your conscious reality. Evolution designed your brain to be an elite pattern recognition machine. Millions of years ago, mistaking the rustle of leaves for a harmless wind instead of a hidden predator meant death. Your survival depended entirely on your brain's ability to correctly match current events to past memories. You needed to know, instantly, if you had seen a situation before, and if it was dangerous. Because the stakes were so high, your brain evolved a biological failsafe. It built an internal auditor, a ruthless fact-checker constantly scanning your memory banks to ensure the incoming data is completely accurate. So when an electrical glitch happens, when the present moment accidentally spills into the wrong cognitive folder, the auditor sounds the alarm. It creates that intense, jarring feeling of déjà vu to snap your attention directly to the error. Your brain is intentionally making you uncomfortable so you do not act on a false memory. To fully grasp the true danger of this, we have to look closer at the machinery underneath. Imagine your brain is a massive, highly organized filing cabinet. On one side, you have the short-term tray. This is where everything you are seeing and hearing right now is temporarily held. On the other side is the deep archive, your long-term memory. Normally, information flows smoothly from the short-term tray, gets processed, and is carefully filed away into the long-term archive over time. But your brain is a biological machine, and machines run on electricity and chemicals. Sometimes, a tiny spark of static disrupts the entire assembly line. The information you are experiencing right now bypasses the short-term tray completely. It skips a step. It gets dumped straight into the long-term memory archive instantly. So, as you are living the present moment, your brain is simultaneously retrieving it from deep storage. You are literally remembering the present. It feels exactly like predicting the future, but it is just a horrific biological delay. You are experiencing the world in stereo, slightly out of phase with yourself. What happens when this delicate system completely fails? What happens when the biological fact-checker goes offline permanently? There is a rare and tragic neurological condition called chronic déjà vu. People with this condition do not just feel a fleeting sense of familiarity for a few seconds. They feel it constantly. Every waking minute of their lives feels like a rerun. They refuse to read the newspaper because they swear they have already read the exact headlines. They refuse to watch new movies because they genuinely believe they have seen them before. They stop going outside. They stop talking to their own families because every conversation feels perfectly staged. Every spontaneous moment feels completely scripted. When the brain cannot separate the present from the past, the future disappears entirely. You are left completely paralyzed in an eternal, inescapable loop. The social and mental consequences are devastating. It is a total collapse of the human experience, brought on by a millimeter of damaged tissue in the temporal lobe. But there is a flip side to this coin, an opposing force that is just as terrifying, if not worse. It is called jamais vu, never seen. This happens when the exact opposite wires get crossed in your skull. You look at something you know perfectly well, a common word, a room in your house, even the face of someone you deeply love, and suddenly it is entirely alien. You can stare at the word door for 60 seconds, and suddenly it stops being a word. It loses all meaning and becomes a random collection of strange shapes. and you walk into your own kitchen, and it feels like a movie set you have never stepped foot in. If déjà vu is the illusion of a memory, jamais vu is the temporary death of one. Both phenomena prove just how incredibly fragile our grip on reality truly is. We walk around completely confident in what we know, entirely blind to the fact that our entire world is just one electrical misfire away from collapsing into total unfamiliarity. We fundamentally like to believe that we are the masters of our own minds. We trust our eyes implicitly. We trust our memories without question. We build our entire identities around the narrative of the things we remember happening to us. But these glitches in the cognitive system reveal a deeply uncomfortable truth. Your brain is not a perfect video recorder of reality. It is a highly advanced, slightly flawed prediction machine. It is constantly guessing what is going to happen next, constantly writing and rewriting the narrative of your life in real time to make it feel smooth and continuous. Déjà vu is the exact moment the machine trips over its own wires. It is the moment the projection screen tears in half, and for just a fraction of a second, you see the blinding light of the projector hiding behind it. So the next time you walk into a strange room and feel that sudden, chilling wave of certainty that you have been there before, do not just brush it off. Do not just smile and move on with your day. Stop and actually feel it. Because in that exact fraction of a second, you are not predicting the future. You are not remembering a past life. You are catching your own brain in a lie. You are witnessing the absolute limits of human consciousness. If our entire experience of life is just a delayed broadcast, heavily edited and ruthlessly fact-checked by a lump of biological matter in the dark, then you have to ask yourself one final thing. Are you ever truly experiencing reality, or are you just remembering a dream your brain is forcing you to watch?